Okay, so now we're going to look into something called surds, which are when you express something in terms of a square root of a number, such as the square root of 3. That's a surd. It's a fraction that will be never ending if we actually write it out. So what we'll do is we'll look at some of the basic rules of dealing with surds first. So when you're dealing with surds, surd A times root B is just the same as writing root A times B. So just to show you how it works, root 2 times root 3 would be the same as writing root 2 times 3 or root 6. They'd be the same. Okay, it doesn't work when you're adding surds. A plus B does not equal. Okay, that does not work. Only when you're timesing them. Okay, and also when you're dividing. So exactly the same. What do you call that? And again, an example, we had root 6 divided by root 2 would be the same as root 6 divided by 2, which would equal root 3. Okay? Other thing to remember, anything times itself. So root A times root A will just equal A. Quite an important one to remember, that one. So obviously root 3 times root 3 will just equal 3. Okay, so let's keep those in mind. They're all in your booklet, and we'll do some questions. Okay, so now let's do a practice question on surds. We're going to look at simplifying root 6 times root 50. So we want to get that in its simplest form. Let's deal with both of them separately. So first off, root 6. As we already saw earlier, root 6 can just be written as root 3 times 2, okay? Which can be written as root 3 times by root 2. Okay, so we know that, and we can keep that separate. We'll come back to that at the end. So root 50. Okay, what two numbers times together to make 50? 5 and 10. So we can say that root 50 equals root 5 times root 10. What two numbers times together to make 10? 5 and 2. So we can say that actually equals root 5 times root 5 times root 2. 5 times 5 times 2. Okay. What's root 5 times root 5? It's 5. So we actually get that. This actually equals 5 times by root 2. Okay, so we've got that as simple as we can, got that as simple as we can. And we just need to times the two together. So we do root 3 times by root 2 times by 5 times by root 2. You can see we've got a root 2 times a root 2 in here, which will just equal 2. So we've actually got root 3 times 5 times 2. So we've got root 3 times 10, which in surds we just write as 10 root 3. There's our answer. Okay, we'll do one more practice question together, and then you'll have to do some. We're going to do a practice exam, questions come out of an exam. So we've got a rectangle. This side, the length is 3 root 2. Okay? And this side is x. We know that the area equals 30 squared. Okay? So we need to find x. Looks like a horrible question and will probably scare the bejesus out of you in an exam. Don't let it. Break it down into the smallest parts you can, and you'll find it's actually fairly easy to tackle. You actually probably get satisfaction out of tackling this sort of question. It's a real problem-solving exercise. So, how do we find out the area of something? Area is just length times height, which are two sides times together. So the area just equals L times H of this. So we call that L and we'll call that H. So we know that 30, we put the numbers in. 30 must equal 3 root 2 times by x. Okay, 30 must equal 3 root 2 times x. So what must x equal? Well, x must equal 30 divided by 3 root 2. So 30 divided by 3 root 2 must equal x. Now, how do we get out of this? Well, we deal with it like we deal with any other sort of fraction. What we can do is times the top and bottom by the same thing. It will stay the same fraction. So we times the top and the bottom by 2, by root 2. So we do 30 times root 2 divided by 3 root 2 times root 2, which is just, okay, so root 2 times root 2 is 2, so 3 times root 2 times root 2, 6. So obviously that is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. So we get our answer is 5 root 2. So it's complicated as a Surds question is going to get, really. So have a bash at doing the questions in the booklet, and we'll move on to the next section.